Hey there nation, welcome to the show. We help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander CheapSkate, and we're back with another edition of The Longest War. This is our series of Warhammer 40,000 8th edition battle reports. This is battle report number 10. It is a 1,000 point battle that was fought between my friend Death with his Garden of Nurgle, which is his Demons of Nurgle army, versus yours truly of Watch Company Teritus of the Deathwatch. So that's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going right back to it again with our Deathwatch kill teams this time. We're going up against Demons of Nurgle. I've never really fought against Demons and Nurgles before, either in Warhammer Fantasy, Age of Sigmar, or in Warhammer 40,000, so this would be kind of interesting matchup to see exactly how we stack up on this one. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play some background music real quick. If you want to see exactly what each of the armies is bringing, please pause and check it out at your own leisure. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this battle report on a roll. Alright, so with the battle list over with, let's go and talk about the scenario rules on this one. As you can see, we are fighting on a 4x6 table. I am fighting on the near side of the board, while my opponent, Death, is deployed on the far side of the board. There really is no scenarios for this one so much. We're just kind of fighting it out just to see exactly who's the last man standing on this one. We're not playing competitively. We're just playing for fun and getting used to ruling the rules. So with scenario rules over with, because it's really straightforward, let's go and talk about the deployment areas real quick. Alright, so here's an overhead shot of the battlefield. Let's go ahead and talk about my battle plan for this battle report. As you can see, my opponent has kind of gone for a straight line formation. He's got his flyers on his left hand side, his infantry in the center, as well as some Nurglings there on the right hand side to hold down the flank. And since he outnumbers me by a very large number, and since I'm playing Deathwatch, it's up to me to kind of like play defensively because I could easily get overran and get destroyed. While it is true that my Deathwatch guys can throw out a ton of hits and also cause a lot of pain with the shooting and close combat, I have very limited numbers, so every single guy I lose really counts. So as you can see, I kind of cornered up here in the right hand corner to protect my right hand flank, and that way my plan is to have my opponent march across the battlefield, come to me. As he's marching across the battlefield towards me, hopefully I can whittle him down with some long range fire, but with his demonic ward saves as well as his disgusting resilient slaves, it might be kind of difficult, but I'll see exactly how that works out. And then of course engage him in close combat when he finally gets in, and hopefully be able to destroy it that way. Hopefully my more high damaging advanced weaponry and close combat abilities will win the day for me against this huge horde of rotting dead things, which would be kind of interesting to see exactly how it works out. So with the battle plan over with, let's go and talk about exactly where everything is deployed. Alright, so starting with deployment for my Deathwatch here in the left-hand flank. As you can see in the very far left-hand corner, I have Nihilus, that's my Venerable Dreadnought, packing his twin last cannons, kind of laying down some Overwatch fire from that building across the battlefield. Right behind him, of course, I have Artemis, Watch Captain Artemis, as well as Apostolatory Gaius, that's my Librarian, as well as my special character, who's the Watch Captain of Watch Company Tertius, which also kind of makes sense there on that side as well. On the left-hand side there, I also have Kill Team Kroll, that's my little assault kill team. This guy's armed with Stalker bolt guns. They also have frag cannons as well. And on the far right hand side, I got a 5-man kill team. That's Kill Team Dothros. That's my aces unit. Those guys have 3 common meltas. They also have a Terminator with a common melta fist as well as a heavy flamer. So I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly how to kind of lay down some long range fire here on my left hand flank. Alright, and on the right hand flank, I have my assault teams. On the left hand side, I got my 4-man kill team decaying. That's my close combat team. I got a black shield in there with a thunderhammer. And on the right hand side is kill team Toldorax. I have 2 jetpack guys with lightning claws as well as a hand flamer. I also got the sergeant Toldorax. He's armed with a combat shotgun. I also have a black shield in there with a storm shield as well as a a power maul. And then of course right behind them, of course, I have my special character chaplain. What's his name? Cassius, and he's right back there too, to kind of lend some support with leadership. And that pretty much makes up my right hand flank on this one. Meanwhile, for my buddy Odeth with his Garden of Nurgle, over here on the left hand side, you can see his deadheads are right there in straight line. Those are 6 plague drones. It was on top of their giant bloat flies. I'm really not really sure how these guys perform in battle. I never actually got up against these guys before in any game, so I'm kind of excited to see exactly what that goes with. But those guys are in a nice little out of position. However, because these guys are flyers, they can quickly close the distance between their location to me, so I do have to watch out for that. Right here in the middle of his army, of course, is where the majority of his forces are located at. In the back, on the left-hand side, that is Scabothrax, the Bloated. That's a great unclean one. He's got a Plague Flail as well as a Bile Sword. He's located there, kind of lending up some magical support. On the right-hand side, that's Ambrista, the Incubator. He's a Herald of Nurgle. Also down to giving his strength bonuses to his troops there as well. And up in the front, on the left-hand side, he's got his Tallymen, which are 15 Plague Bearers. Those guys are Plague Swords. And the 15 ripe ones on the right-hand side, which are another 15 Plague Bearers as well. And like I said before, I've never gone up against Demons of Nurgle before, so I'm not exactly sure what to expect from these Plague Bearers, as well as from his Greater Demon and from his Herald, but we'll see. I'm pretty excited to see exactly what happens with that. So that makes up my opponent's center lines. And finally, make up his right-hand flank, that is the Carbuncle of Chaos, which is the 6 Nurglings, 6 base of Nurglings right there holding down his right-hand flank. And that pretty much makes the deployment for this one. So with deployment over, we both roll off for initiative for turn number 1 to see exactly who goes first. And luckily for me, I got to go first, so this photo is taken after the movement phase. As you can see in this photo, I just start sending my troops forward as kind of conservatively. Pretty much what my plan is to do, like I said before, is to kind of create this firing line. I have Nihilus, the Dreadnought, inside that building, holding down some long-range fire on the left-hand side. I also got Kill Team, Kill Team Kroll right outside the building that way, so that way they can get within range of their frag cannons. Hopefully I can cause some damage by engaging over here on the right-hand flank. And then of course we're on that little one-man fighting position right there, the little foxhole mound, which is on the right-hand side, which was a newest piece of terrain, by the way, that was created by our resident terrain wizard, Iron Major. He actually made that for us for our battlefield. Once again, the guy's a genius. But anyways, around that unit as well, I have Kill Team Dothros as well, kind of occupying that elevated fighting position. And of course, on the right-hand side there, I got his Kill Team decaying as well as Kill Team Toldorax, make up the right-hand side with Cassius as well, so that way they can start sweeping to the right. What my plan is hopefully I can bait my enemy to march his infantry forces in between the Shrine of Chaos right there in the middle. That's that shrine dedicated to the King in Yellow, which was of course another gift which was given to us by Holy Knight 01. So Holy Knight 01, if you're watching this, that's that gift you got us for us, buddy. And hopefully I'm going to move his infantry forces between the Shrine of the King in Yellow as well as the MCI Chemical Works on the right hand side. And as infantry forces as well as his flyers from the Deadheads move across the center of the battlefield, Kill Team Kroll as well as Kill Team Dothros will be able to take him down. Same thing with using Nihilus as well as my general, of course, General Artemis, as well as Apostolar guys using his psychic abilities. And then what I'm going to try to do is flank around the right hand side of the MCI Chemical Works with Kill Team Toldorax as well as Kill Team Decaying, supported by Cassius. So that way I can kind of give him a crossfire right there at the base there in the open, so that way he can get destroyed that way. And that's pretty much the scheme of maneuver I was kind of going for in this movement phase. Here's a close-up of Nihilus looking like a boss doing an overwatch position with his twin last cannons overlooking the entire field before the MCI Chemical Works, hoping to cause some pain from his position. And here's a close-up all four of my kill teams with their supporting commanders rallying around that foxhole that you can see right there in the middle of the mound there. That's a one-man fighting position. You really can't see it on this side, but Iron Major actually put a little post on that concrete pillar there. On the other side, it's a blue post that says "Keep calm and obey the Emperor" is what it says. So it's, like I said before, a really amazing piece of terrain that was created by Iron Major. So Iron Major, if you're watching this, thank you again for that piece of terrain because it looks freaking aces on this battlefield. So during the hero phase, the psychic phase, wrong game. During the psychic phase, you can see here I basically put off a couple of psychic abilities onto Kill Team Toldorax. I first off put on Might of Heroes onto the Deathwatch biker, giving him +1 strength, toughness, as well as attacks, because he's going to be doing the brunt of the charging here in a little bit. I also decided to put Veil of Time onto Kill Team Toldorax as well, so that way they can reroll advance as well as charge rolls, and at the same time can also fight first in close combat in case they decide to get charged by my opponent's demons at that point. And that pretty much makes the psychic phase on this part. Alright, so with the psychic phase over with, we go directly to the shooting phase. As you can see in this photo, we just absolutely destroyed the carbuncles of chaos. I managed to kill 4 of the 6 bases of Nurglings that was right over there. Now, while that may sound cool that I killed so many Nurglings in the opening Salvo with the shooting phase, what is not so cool was how much firepower I actually had to send into that unit in order to crush it because of 2 things. Chaos Demons, they have a demonic ward save, a vulnerable save of 5 up, so that's, 1/3 of your kills aren't going to go through. But then they also have a special rule called Disgustingly Resilient, which means they get another 5 up ward save as well, including against mortal wounds as well, so that was absolutely really bad. My opponent was just rolling 5s and 6s like he couldn't miss for the most part, so I was actually kind of disappointed in that bit a little bit, because I sent in every single piece of firepower I had in my unit trying to get to those guys, and it didn't do anything. At the same time, I also had Nihilus open up with his twin last cannons against the, I believe they're called the Ripe Ones. That's that unit of 15 Plague Bearers in the middle of the battlefield, and just like that, their shots went bad. One got stopped by the Invulnerable Ward save, the other one got stopped by the Disgusting Resilience save, and I just cannot believe my luck on this opening round of Salvo for shooting for this phase. Well, because that is the mix of the shooting phase, and no one is doing any charges because I advanced for most of my guys, and there is no combat or morale phase, that pretty much rounds up turn number 1 for Deathwatch. So with that being said, we go to the bottom of turn number 1 for the Garden of Nurgle. Okay, so that takes us to the bottom of turn number 1 for the Demons of Nurgle. This photo is taken after the move phase. As you can see in this photo, my buddy just starts sending out as many of his forces as quickly as he can. He realized he's out of position to kind of get to me because he went for that kind of straight line formation covering the entire battlefield, while I kind of like cornered up there on the right hand side. So because of that, he actually spends the entire turn just advancing his guys as quickly as he possibly can. The first thing that he does, of course, he moves up his Carbuncle of Chaos in order to start engaging my kill teams there on the right hand side. He also moves up the Tallymen as well as the Ripe Ones into kind of like a left-right kind of formation. The Ripe Ones are based there on the MCI Chemical Works, while the Tallymen are heading towards the Chaos Shrine dedicated to the King in Yellow. At the same time, he also advances, I think, 16 inches forward with his Deadheads as well. So those Plague Drones just kind of zoom across the battlefield just outside of West Super Red as well. At the same time, he also moves up his Scabothrax, the Great Unclean One, as well as Ambrista, the Incubator, moves those guys up as well to lend some support using their abilities. And as you can see, he's a Chaos Demon player. He has to engage me in close combat because they really don't have much shooting in this army, so that pretty much kind of sums up his entire strategy at this point. So here's a close-up of his Deadheads, his 6 Plague Drones, making it across the battlefield as quick as they possibly can. I'm kind of terrified of those things because Monstrous Cav is never a joke to deal with. And here's a close-up of the huge tidal wave of rotting things that are heading my way that are completely disease-ridden with the demons as well as the Herald in support. So I'm kind of anxious to see exactly what happens to these guys when I start engaging those guys in some long-range shooting. And perhaps the most terrifying unit of all is the Carbuncle Chaos. That unit of 2 Nurglings on bases are coming towards me, and I'm actually shivering my boots because I'm just joking. They're just Nurglings, so it's kind of funny. I think it's that these guys are taking the offense. And that pretty much was the movement phase on this one. And in the psychic phase, my buddy O'Death manages to get off the psychic ability that gives his the Ripe Ones +1 to their strength as well as +1 to toughness, and so that's basically one of the only things he's able to get off with his psychic ability, which is actually kind of, I'm still getting my head wrapped around the whole idea of using magic within 40k, but whatever. So that's what happened in the psychic phase. And with that being done, we go directly to the top of turn number 2 for the Deathwatch. So I managed to steal initiative on this one as well. For pretty much the rest of the round, there wasn't really much going on. Those Nurglings tried to charge, but unfortunately they failed their charge, and there was no close combat battle morale phase. So because of that, we go directly to the movement phase after turn number 2. As you can see, I do a little bit of movement on my own a little bit. So what I decided to do is I decided to send in Kill Teams Kroll as well as Dothros. I'm going to start sending her a little bit closer to the MCI Chemical Works, so that way I'm in range with my assault weapons from my combat melters for 1, as well as for my frag cannons, so that way they can shoot the multiple shots directly into that unit of the Ripe Ones. Hopefully I can bring those guys down as well. I also move up Watchcat to Artemis, as well as Apostatory Gaius, as well as Nihilus as well, so that way they can lend some long-range firing support to help out those units. At the same time, I also move up my kill teams Toldorax, as well as kill team Decaying. I also move them up to deal with the Nurglings. Nurglings, because like I said before, my plan is to kind of flank on the right hand side around the MCI Chemical Works to start engaging the Nurgle forces within a crossfire, and that pretty much makes up my move phase on this part. And here's a close-up of the shooting elements of my army getting ready to load for bear against the ripe ones up in the front, and hopefully I can whittle down that unit, because if I do manage to take out that entire unit of plague bears, I'll be able to redirect some of my heavy weapons against his greater demon Nurgle right there in the back. So that's pretty much the plan on this half. And at the same time, here on the right hand side, my assault kill teams get ready to take on these Nurglings and hopefully destroy these guys, so that way I can sweep around the right hand flank and then kill my opponent. During the second phase, I managed to manifest 2 psychic powers. The first one was on kill team's decaying. I decided to give them the Veil of Time ability as well, so that way they can reroll advances, charges, as well as fight first in close combat, just in case if my opponent, if I fail my charges, or if my opponent fails to, if I'm unable to defeat my opponent in charges, or if he charges me, these guys will be to fight first because they're kind of like on the forefront. So that makes it the second phase on this part. And at the same time, I managed to wipe out 3 more plague bears using the smite ability from my librarian, so that part was kind of cool as well. I actually managed to get off 6 wounds. I managed to roll a 6 on that one because I rolled like an 11, I think, in order to get that smite ability off. However, 3 of those were able to be stopped with disgustingly resilient, so I managed to kill 3 more from that one. And I gotta tell you, that disgustingly resilient ability is disgustingly resilient. It's just bad. Oof, it's kind of dangerous to see how that one goes off. So for starters, in the shooting phase, when we go to the kill team Toldorax opening with their long range fire against those Nurglings, I do manage to kill off 1 unit of Nurglings, but I only managed to put 2 more wounds onto the last set. So because I will have to engage these guys in close combat to wipe out this unit, because, you know, disgusting resilient just never fails apparently for my buddy O'Death. He's rolling 5s and 6s like it's going out of style, so that part was kind of interesting. However, on the right hand side with the ripe ones, that huge unit of plague bearers, I managed to destroy that entire unit with the combined fires of kill teams Kaon, kill team Dothros, kill team Kroll, as well as Artemis and Apostolatory Gaius, as well as Nihilus. Oh, sorry, not Nihilus, just with those infantry units as well. Those combo meltas really came into effect and really came into their own, just chewing through those guys like it's nobody's business as well. Same thing with those frag cannons. Frag cannons are absolutely devastating when you fire them in mass into a unit. So because of that, I was able to wipe it out. Now, because I was able to wipe out the ripe ones, that did leave the greater demon of Nurgle open and vulnerable. Since he's a character and he is the closest character I can shoot to, I was able to engage him with Nihilus as well. Nihilus' 2 last cannon shots did manage to hit him. However, my opponent was able to just save one with a disgustingly resilient, and I managed to put 3 wounds on that guy with the second one. So while that guy is packing 9 more wounds, he is 3 wounds shorter. So I'll take my little blessings when I can, because that disgusting resilient roll, man, whew, it is tough. So with the shooting phase over, we go directly to the charge phase. As you can see in this photo, I decided to charge in Chaplain Cassius as well as kill Team Toldorax into that 1 remaining unit of Nurglings, so that way they get a little bit further in the combat phase. So with the charge phase over, we go directly to combat. And as you can see, my Deathwatch guys had no problem just curb stopping those Nurglings and getting rid of them and just actually destroying them that way. And as you see, they do their little re-entry consolidation move right afterwards, and that's getting us closer to the right hand flank of the Garden of Nurgle as well. So that being said, that takes us directly to the bottom of turn number 2 for the Garden of Nurgle. So when it takes us to the bottom of turn number 2 for the Demons of Nurgle, and as you can see in this photo from the move phase, they pretty much just start moving up the forces as quickly as they possibly can for my buddy O'Death. He decides to keep his greater demon Scabthrax in the back, just because he doesn't want to get sniped with some long-range twin last cannon fire. So you can see there he moves up his Tallyman into a blocking position to kind of protect him, so that way they kind of create this human shield to protect his greater demon from being shot off the table. At the same time, the right hand side, he moves up Ambrista, the Incubator. He actually moves him up into the top of the MCI Chemical Works, so that way he can kind of intercept the kill team Toldorax as making its way around the right hand side to kind of flank. At the same time, he also advances forward with his deadheads as well, so all 6 plague drones move past the shrine dedicated to the King in Yellow and get ready to attack my main lines, and that pretty much makes the move phase on this part. Here is a close-up shot of the Deadheads as well as the Tallyman getting ready to engage with my main line of forces from my Deathwatch guys here in the little area right in the middle of the battlefield. And here's a close of Ambrista the Incubator walking along the gantry walkway, trying to head over to kill Team Toldorax as well. So with the move phase over, we go directly to the psychic phase. And the very first thing that my friend decides to do is bring up a unit of Plague Bearers onto the battlefield as well. In case you're unaware how it works for summoning of demons, so long as a Chaos character doesn't move in the movement phase, he could actually spend that turn summoning up a Chaos Demon unit or Chaos Demon of his choice. All he has to do is take 3d6, roll them. If he gets a double, he suffers a mortal wound. If he gets a triple, he suffers 2 mortal wounds. And if the total of the dice is more than the power level of the unit being summoned, they pop up on the table. So as you see here, he brings in 10 more Plague Bearers to kind of act as a buffer between his main forces as well as mine. Now, many of you guys who watch the rules of different battle reports from Warhammer 40k and also know the rules will know that in order for him to bring up this unit, he has to actually pay for points out of his units to summon them up on the table for reinforcement points. While we do see the values of such things, we actually don't really use them for our gaming group because we think they're kind of ridiculous and they're kind of hilarious to kind of, try to suggest that. So because that, we don't use any rules for summoning. If you want to summon it, you could bring it back on the table. And for all of you guys who are saying that it's not a good system to use for your gaming group, well, let's just put it this way. I'm not benefiting from it. It's actually from my friends, so who really cares at this point? And unfortunately for me, my buddy takes Ambrisa, the Incubator, has him open up with his Smite ability onto Kill Team Toldorax. He puts on 3 mortal wounds onto that unit, kills my Biker as well as my shotgun-wielding Deathwatch veteran as well, so that part was kind of sad. So anyways, that takes place here in the second phase. And the charging phase, with a YOLO in the air, my buddy Odeth decides to charge in his Plague Bearers directly into Kill Team, what's that? Decaying is what that ends up being, my 4-man kill team. I do try to overwatch as well, but unfortunately for me, the shots that I do manage to get off gets just ward saved with the demonic ward save as well as the disgusting resilience save, so that was kind of frustrating. But that's what you do when you fight against demons. So because that, my unit now is engaged in close combat. However, I do have the Veil of Time still onto this kill team, so they will be able to fight first in the fight phase. So that's like kind of like a little consolation prize. So that's the charge phase over here on the left hand side of the battlefield. And as you can see in the aftermath of the fight phase, I only have 2 members left of my squad versus against this 10-man unit of Plague Bearers. In the end, I managed to kill 2 Plague Bearers, and they managed to kill 2 of my Power Sword and Chainsword wielding veterans armed with bolt guns as well. The only guys are left are my Sergeant Zacchaeon with his Plasma Pistol and Power Sword, as well as my Black Shield armed with the Grand Thunderhammer. And that was absolutely demoralizing to see that happen. I have not seen so many 5s and 6s rolled in my opponent's favor in my entire life. I was rolling out the box. I was actually causing a lot of pain. And had it not been for demonic saves as well as for disgusting resilience, I would have just crushed this unit in close combat. Unfortunately, though, my buddy was able to ward save most of those, so that was absolutely terrifying. Luckily for me, though, because I'm Space Marines, we really don't break, so because of that, when I roll for my morale test, my guys stuck it out, so that part is kind of nice as well. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of turn number 2, and we go to the turn number 3 to see who goes first. And to make matters worse, my buddy Odeth managed to secure their first initiative for turn number 3. So this photo is taken after the move phase, and as you can see in this photo, he's just starting to bring the pain. He sends in everything, getting closer to charging into my forces. So first of all, with his deadheads, he moves those guys up 10 inches, so that way they're a nice little wave charge to south my left-hand flank as well. At the same time, he also brings up his tallyman to the center, so that way they can do another support charge to help out the newly summoned Plague Bearers over on the right-hand side as well. And he also brings up his General Scabathrax as well, right behind his huge wave of 15 Plague Bearers, so that way he can lend some magical support with psychic abilities and also bring the pain as well. And maybe bring up some more summoning, which could be terrifying if he tries to get that off. At the same time, if he looks at the top as well, he also moves up his Herald of Nurgle. That's Ambrisa, the Incubator, I believe his name was. He moves up closer, so it looks like he's going to get ready to charge into Kill Team Toldorax or towards Chaplain Cassius and get those guys engaged in close combat. And as you can see in this photo, this is a close-up of that huge wave of demons that are coming my way. I have no real answer to deal with any of these things. I was hoping to get another turn of some shooting to whittle these guys down a little bit. However, I really underestimated demonic saves as well as disgusting resilience. Those are just eliminating a lot of my attacks, and it's kind of like demoralizing me at the same time. But I am a Space Marine player. I'm playing Deathwatch. These are the elite fighting force of the Empire. I'm just got to pull through and keep on going. So yeah, that makes the close-up here on the left-hand side. And on the top is a close-up of Ambrista, the Incubator, getting ready to bring the pain onto Kill Team Toldorax as well as Chaplain Cassius as well. And so with movement phase over, we go directly to the psychic phase. Luckily for me, I was able to stop all of his spells for the psychic phase. Either 1, he was unable to manifest them, or 2, I was able to stop them with my own psychic. However, during the shooting phase, shooting phase, can you imagine that? Chaos actually gets shooting phase for the Demons of Demons of Nurgle. I did not see that coming. Those deadheads apparently have an ability to lob, well, deadheads at you. Basically, they're like little heads stuffed with plague stuff, and they opened up on kill team Kroll as well and managed to kill 3 members of that kill team. It was absolutely devastating to see those guys just kind of poof, evaporate into air. The only thing I got left are my 2 frag cannon operating Deathwatch veterans, so that part was absolutely devastating. Who knew that those things could actually shoot? Which is actually kind of terrifying because I thought those things were just close combat oriented only. So yeah, things are not looking very good for my left-hand flank. And just like a tidal wave of rotting, diseased flesh thingies, I guess is what you would say, they charge directly into my lines. So as you can see in this photo, the Tallyman just started charging to the last 2 surviving members of Kill Team Kroll, so now those guys are engaged in close combat. At the same time, the Deadheads also charge into Nihilus as well, so now he's fighting on 6 plague drones all by his lonesome. And right now, I'm doing everything I can to kind of stem the tide of all the pain that is coming my way. Meanwhile, on the top of the board, my buddy sends in Ambrista, the Incubator. He charges in his Plague Herald of Nurgle and has him directly charged directly into Chaplain Cassius. So now my Chaplain as well as this guy are now engaged in close combat, and we'll get to see exactly what happens to be the fall for that one. And I'm actually kind of looking for that one because it's a hero versus hero fight, and those are always the coolest. And like a boss, Chaplain Cassius managed to put the smackdown onto Ambrista, the Incubator, as well. I was very, very lucky. I got 3 of my attacks off, and all 3 of those slipped through his wounds, as also he was able to ward save them or able to stop them with disgustingly resilient. Managed to put 6 wounds on that bad boy, managed to put that man into the ground. So that part was freaking amazing to see that happen. Unfortunately for my buddy, Death, when he actually attacked first with Ambrista, the Incubator, he just kind of flipped his rolls. He rolled a bunch of 1s and 2s, wasn't able to really land anything significant. I was able to save it with my Iron Halo, so that part was kind of cool. But you know what is not cool is not getting a photograph of the battle that took place in the center of the table. So I apologize for that severely for that part, you guys. Once again, I'm really sorry about that. But all you really need to know is, for the most part, Kill Team Kroll, the 2 frag cannon guys, those guys got wiped out pretty easily by the Plague Bearers. Same thing with the last 2 members of Kill Team's decaying, they got wiped out as well. At the same time, Nihilus, my Dreadnought, he managed to kill one of the Plague Drones, but the Plague Drones managed to put 4 wounds on him. So I apologize for this mistake. I'll probably make more in the future. So for now, let's just use the power of imagination to imagining that happen. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 4 and we roll for initiative. Sorry about that, I meant turn 3, the bottom of turn 3 for the Deathwatch. Man, I'm just making all kinds of mistakes today on this battle board. But anyways, as you can see, this is a photo taken after the movement phase. As you can see, like I said before, most of my guys got wiped out there in the center of the table. So you can see that I have my characters as well as most of my kill teams not engaged. I decided not to move much of my center lines. I decided to keep Kill Team Dothros exactly where they're located at, because I plan on doing some delicious long-range fire with some melta guns as well as some combo bolters against those units of Plague Bearers. At the same time, Nihilus, he's still engaged in close combat on the bottom as well. Artemis, he's still located where he's located as well. Same thing with my Librarian, so that way they can lend some support against these Plague Bearers. At the same time, the only real movement that took place, however, was in the north of the table. As you can see in the top there, I have Chaplain Cassius as well as Kill Team Toldorax heading back down south into the center of the table, because my hopes of flanking this army, engaging him in a crossfire, just went out the window. So now I really have to hold the line here in the center and just kind of protect my flanks and just kind of engage him at the front. Hopefully I'll be able to bottleneck his forces between the MCI chemical work as well as that building right in front of the little fighting man fighting position, and hopefully I can just engage him there and hopefully take him out that way with my higher skilled forces rather than his numbers. And here's a quick close-up of all the action that is taking place in the center of the table, with the remending of my army as well as my opponent's Plague Bearers getting ready to come down to bear and cause some kind of pain for me, so that way you guys get a better look at this. During the second phase, I was only able to manifest 1 power. The other one was cancelled out by my opponent's Greater Demon of Nurgle. I managed to get off Might of Heroes onto Nihilus, that because he gets +1 strength, toughness, as well as attack, and he's going to need it because he's taking all these Plague Drones by himself, so that part's kind of sad. So with the second phase over, we go directly to the shooting phase. And as you can see in this photo, I managed to even out the odds just a little bit more into my favor. So the very first thing I do is I take aim with Nihilus. I managed to kill 2 Plague Drones. It was a combination of some fire from my twin blast cannons as well as the heavy flamer that this guy is packing for close-up support. So because they only have to deal with taking on 3 of these Plague Drones now, which is a good blessing on that part, so I'm pretty happy about that. However, the real killers, however, was Kill Team Dothros, man, as well as Artemis as well. So Kill Team Dothros opened up with the combo meltas as well as the heavy flamer from the Terminator in the unit as well. battle, as well as the combo bolters as well. Was able to whittle that unit down to about half its size, and then Artemis managed to lob a shot from his Hellfire Extremis as well. That also kind of helped that out earlier. I used the Stasis Bomb earlier to wipe out the ripened ones from the last time we did shooting against these Plague Bearers, so that kind of helped balance out things a little bit as well. So there's not much of a significant threat coming my way as we speak. However, if my opponent is able to, he's able to just summon up new units. So if I don't destroy these guys soon and get to his Greater Demon, he'll just call up something else from the depths of the warp to take the place of everything I just destroyed up to this point. And because I'm Space Marines and we know no fear, I charge in my forces during the charge phase. So everyone goes in. I send in Artemis. I send in Kill Team Dothros. I also send in Chaplain Cassius and Apostolatory Gaius. I also send in Kill Team the remainders of Kill Team Toldorax as well, charging into that small unit of Plague Bearers. And I engage everyone in close combat, because if I can break through these guys, I can make it to my opponent's general. And if I'm able to kill my opponent's general, then I can win this game. And that's pretty much what I'm kind of going for at this point. As you see, during the combat phase, I managed to kill another one of those drones, which is kind of nice as well. My opponent, however, was able to put 2 more wounds onto Nihilus, so that part was pretty devastating as well. I'm still engaged in close combat with Kill Team Dothros. I lost 2 members of my Space Marines from those guys, so I only got 3 members left of that kill team, including the Terminator, the Sergeant, and then the Heavy Infernus Heavy Bolter carrier as well. Pulsatory Gaius and Watch Commander Artemis did manage to survive as well, and I did manage to bring that unit of Plague Bearers down to about 4 guys left, so that part was kind of nice as well. I still also got 2 Plague Drones to deal with Nihilus. But on the other hand, though, Cassius, as well as the members of Kill Team Tordorax, were able to wipe out those last remaining Plague Bearers, and they did a quick 3-inch reconciliation move right past them to start heading towards my opponent's general. So hopefully I can take him out. If I can get the initiative on the next turn, that would be huge for helping me try to secure a victory in this battle report, because if my buddy gets the initiative, he'll just summon more pain and I'll be unable to stop him. And here's a quick look close-up of the action that's taking place in the center of the table, so you can see that Kill Team Toldorax as well as Chaplain Cassius got a good little straightaway run towards my enemy general, which will be really helpful for me in the coming turn. And because the Emperor protects those who protect themselves, I managed to secure the initiative for turn number 4 for the Deathwatch. So as you can see in this photo is after the move phase. Pretty much all I really do is I move up to Kill Team Toldorax as well as Cassius and get on close within charging distance in order to engage that Greater Demon, because that guy needs to die like yesterday, and I need to take out that guy before he manages to summon up any new units. Everybody else is engaged in close combat, so because of that, not much movement takes place anywhere else. In the psychic phase, I'm able to get off the ability for Might of Heroes once again onto Nihilus as well. My other casting ability, which I was going to do Veil of Time, got canceled by my opponent, so that part was kind of sad. However, during the shooting phase, as you can see in this photo, Nihilus was able to kill another one of those, one of those Plague Drones as well, so that part was kind of nice, using a combination of 1 shot from his last gun and managed to cause 2 wounds that way. I was able to finish him off again with the Heavy Flame that I had. However, like before, my opponent's demonic rolls as well as his disgusting resilient rolls were just out of the box. I was able to do much of anything. Case in point, if you notice right there in the center of the battlefield, not a single member of those Plague Bearers have dropped dead from shooting, because I just flooded my rolls and my opponent was just acing his like a boss. So because of that, those Plague Bearers are still around, so that was kind of demoralizing. So with the Scream in the air, I decided to charge forward with all of my members of Kill Team Toldorax as well as my Chaplain, and then my opponent managed to overwatch with his Plague Flail from his Greater Demon, and he just rolled like a boss on that. Managed to roll up, 6s on those shots. Not only did he manage to hit my members of Kill Team Toldorax, but the damage that was caused from the wounds and able to wound him, managed to wipe out the remaining members of that kill team. The only guy I was able to make in unscathed was Cassius. So because of that, now my Chaplain's staring down this huge lumbering Greater Demon of Nurgle all by himself in close combat, and things are not looking very good for my character at this point, because that was absolutely bad. However, in the combat phase, the members of Kill Team Dothros, Artemis, Watch Commander Artemis, as well as Apostolatory Gaius are able to finish off the rest of those Plague Bearers, so that part was kind of cool. And Nihilus also managed to curb stomp the very last of the Plague Drones as well, so that was pretty awesome as well. So I'm pretty happy about that. We managed to kill off all those Plague Bearers, so things are going pretty well here in the center portion of the table. However, up here in the north, Chaplain Gaius just got impaled with that Plague Sword from the Greater Demon Nurgle. He took that Bile Sword and just basically gave him a new one on that part, so that was absolutely devastating. I wasn't even able to even cause any wounds on that guy because that Greater Demon just wiped him out in the very first round of combat, so that was pretty sad to see that actually happen. But with the morale phase, because I'm Space Marines, all my guys pretty much passed the morale test, so nothing goes on there. So with that being said, we go to the bottom of turn number 4 for the Demons of Nurgle. And because Papa Nurgle loves his Chol in the turn number 4, my opponent Odeth decides not to move his Greater Demon at all and decides to summon up another unit of plague drones onto the table. So you see there's 3 more plague drones just sitting right there. So those things are absolutely terrifying because not only can they shoot, they can also do pretty well in close combat and just bog things down like it's nobody's business. And that's really bad for me because if I can't get to these plague drones to get to his general in time, he can summon up more units basically into perpetuity unless I can manage to stop him with that part. So that was kind of sad. During the psychic phase, my buddy Odeth managed to take out the really big version of Smite. He actually rolled an 11 on that one, so because of that, he was able to cause d6 wounds onto Watch Captain Artemis. When he rolled to see how many mortal wounds he actually caused 6 mortal wounds and wasn't able to save any of them with his invulnerable save, so that was absolutely devastating. So right off the bat, my special character just gets blasted to his baser elements, and his brain and spirit gets sent across the ether because that's what happens when the Plague God decides to smite you on that part, so that was pretty devastating to see that happen. And because when the Plague God wants you dead, you end up dead, those Plague drones opened up with their, with their death heads against my members of Kill Team Dothros. Not only did they manage to hit, but they also managed to kill all 3 members of that kill team. I just bombed my rolls like I wasn't even trying. When I went to roll for my armor saves, I literally, kid you not, I rolled 3 1s. And because of that, my guy just ended up dying a horrible, horrible death, being consumed by flesh-eating bacteria, is what I can imagine. So all I got left now is my Dreadnought, as well as my Librarian to deal with any of this. And because Odeth is called Odeth for a reason, he sends in all 3 of his plague drones into upholstery guys. So because of that, my Librarian is now facing down 3 plague drones, all by and lonesome, to fight these guys in close combat. As you could probably guess, those plague drones had no problem killing my Librarian whatsoever in close combat. And that pretty much makes it the combat phase, as well as the end of this turn for the Demons of Nurgle at this point, because they killed my Librarian. And the only thing I got left now is my Dreadnought, which is carrying 6 of 8 wounds, which is not very good for us. However, as a consolation prize, though, I do manage to secure the initiative for turn number 5, so you can see that this turn right here pretty much makes up my entire turn. I decided not to move Nihilus at all because he has packing heavy weapons, and every single time he moves, he has a -1 to hit with those heavy weapons. So I take aim with both my last cannons and open up onto these newly summoned plague drones. Unfortunately, I was only able to kill one of them because I just rolled really poorly. My opponent was able to save the rolls from the shots from those last cannons, but when I rolled up to see how much wounds I caused, I think I rolled like a 3 and a 1. So because I only managed to kill one of these plague drones, and that leaves 2 more plague drones left alive. So that was pretty demoralizing to see that happen. And because Demons of Nurgle just have no end to their summoning, another unit of plague drones is brought up onto the battlefield as well. So Nihilus is now staring on the barrel of 2 units of 3 plague drones, all by his lonesome, as well as a Greater Demon as well. So you can pretty much guess how this battle report is going to end. In the shooting phase, both units of plague drones take aim with their deadheads. They launch them at Nihilus, and unfortunately for my Dreadnought, they manage to put the last 2 wounds onto my poor fallen hero. He does die. He does not explode a ball of fire, however, so that was kind of sad. It wasn't able to cause any damage with explosions, and just as quickly as he appeared, he was gone. And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, that takes us directly to the end of the game. I was completely tabled on this one and ended up being a defeat for yours truly. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go directly to After Action Report because this game is now officially over.
I thought about staying. They offered me the chance to lead them, to teach them, to be king.
Uh-huh.
But my place is here, so I swallowed the juice, said the words, and here I am.
Did you say the words right this time?
Well, maybe I didn't say every single tiny little syllable, no, but basically I said them, yeah. Basically.
Alright, nation, now it's time for the After Action Report. This is the part of the battle report we talk about what went well, what went poorly, and what we can learn for the next time that we do battle. This is After Action Report for the Longest War Battle Report number 10. It ended up being a defeat for yours truly. So let's go and talk about what exactly led to my defeat in this battle report. And 2 words led to my defeat: disgustingly resilient. That's all that needs to be said about that. Actually, I'm just joking. Discussing resilient, while it is pretty good because it gives you a 5-up save against mortal wounds and for regular wounds, it only still has a really good about a 1/3 chance of stopping your damage. So it's not as powerful as you might think it is. But it actually made quite a bit of difference in this battle report because my friend was just getting really lucky today with the dice, and he was just doing awesome on that part. In combination with the 5-up Demon Sieve, it was a beast and was really trying to pay a real pain to get it because you could fire off these huge last cannons and these frag cannons and it'd just be stopped by disgusting disgustingly resilient, which is also kind of makes sense too because Nurgle armies are notoriously slow. So as you can see, I had a lot of time to actually shoot at him as well. Now, I know many of you rule critics will cite the lack of summoning pools as the reason why I got defeated in this battle. You'll say things like, oh, it's because your opponent was able to bring up more and more demons and you weren't able to stop them. Okay, you know what? To be honest with you, I like the challenge of not having a summoning pool. My friends and I, we don't use summoning pools for Age of Sigmar. We don't use it for Warhammer 40,000. It's a lot of fun for us to do it. And I like the challenge of actually taking on a thing that could potentially go on forever, because that just means you're even more of a beast when you actually win on that part. So I'm not going to blame lack of summoning for my problems on this one, because in the end, the only reason why I lost this battle before is because I got too, what's the word I'm looking for? Impetuous is what the word I'm looking for. In the end, I lost because I got too impatient. I left my defensive fighting position. I should have been patient, and what I should have done is just remain exactly in the corner like I was planning, having my opponent close the distance between me and as well as my lines and his lines, and shoot him the entire time until eventually he got close up to me and then I could attack him as well. And the reason why is because to make things worse, I had teleport beacons on the other left-hand side of the battlefield from where my forces were deployed. What I could have done is actually lured him in, fought him, and then teleported to a different part of the battlefield, and then you have to come and chase me on the other side. I could have just leapfrogged around the battlefield, just shooting him into pieces instead of engaging him. And that's the reason why I lost. It's as simple as that. Aggressiveness in battle is good. However, if it's not done well, it will defeat your army like it's nobody's business. So because of that, that's what really cost me. It wasn't summoning pools or any of that nonsense. It's just me being impatient. However, with that being said, in the end, this was a really fun game against a really awesome opponent. I love playing against my buddy Odeth. He always brings in cool stuff, and I want a rematch as always because I need to redeem myself for the name of the Emperor. As always, you guys, please feel free to comment, like, and or subscribe because input is invaluable as always. Also, check us out on Instagram, Google+, Facebook, as well as Blogger for all the latest and greatest of the hobby news. That's good to do it for this one, you guys. We will catch you guys in the next one. You guys stay classy. Peace out.